Good morning, everybody. Sorry, I am not going to be here today, but this is why we have this technology, right? So, for today, your activity is you will be writing a letter to the congressperson or governor of your choice. Sounds simple, right? I realize you're probably panicking, but that's why I wrote down every single thing possible that you could have a question over, and that's also why I'm doing this video. So, why are you doing this activity? First of all, you are exercising your First Amendment right to petition the government by doing this, okay? In the grand scheme of things, is it super important? Yes, quite frankly, it is, because you are upholding democracy and you are upholding your rights that a lot of people don't even realize that they have, okay? The other thing is that if you do not exercise your voice in your government, besides by voting, okay, then Joni Ernst, Chuck Grassley, Steve King, Governor Reynolds, all of them are not going to know what issues are important to you, okay? And that's extremely important because if they don't know, ignorance is bliss, right? So they have to hear your voice in order to reflect on their constituents better and make informed votes themselves. So on Google Classroom, as you can see, I wrote down a ton of instructions. And then I also linked a Google Doc that has even more instructions. Okay, so first off, you need to come up with an issue that you care about. Okay, it could be your student loan debt next year when you go to college. It could be wind energy. It could be drone flying. It can be there's tons and tons of different options. It could be school lunches right now. Like, you really don't like our school lunch. You can write to them about it. Okay. When you figure out your issue that you are passionate about, then you need to go to whoever you are thinking about writing to's website and find out if their views mesh with yours or not. Okay. So for example, we're going to use Joni's website right here. Okay. I went to her website, went to click on issues, and these are all umbrella issues that are used with varying different bills. So for example, okay, if you want to write to Joni Ernst about gun control, you should probably take a look at the Second Amendment and read more, see what she feels about it. Okay, if your views conflict with hers, if they do not jive, they don't mesh, then you can still write to her. And I almost encourage you to do so because more perspectives is better. Okay, but at the same time, don't be antagonistic. Don't be trying to pick a fight. Okay, you want to try to persuade her to think differently on the issue. Okay, if it's an issue that you completely mesh with her or Chuck or Steve or anybody else about, then you can just voice your support for that issue, or your not support, whatever, and kind of be done with it. But yeah, and if it's a issue that you can't find, on this website, like school lunch, you're probably not going to find that. You might find it at education, but maybe not. Okay. Then you can write it as if they are completely a open blank slate and they are open to your opinion. Okay. You can err on the side of caution for that. So with Joni, with Chuck, with Steve, they all have their websites listed there. And then Governor Reynolds has hers here. And, there's lots of different subcategories for those. Okay. So once you figure out your issue and the person that you think you want to write to, then you need to start looking for bills. Okay. If it's national, you're going to use congress.gov, or you are going to use, preview, govtrack.us. If it is a state bill, if you are writing to Governor Reynolds, then you need to use this Iowa legislature website. Okay. So let's say it's a national bill and you want to write to them about student loans. Okay. You do not want a ton of debt when you graduate from college. Okay. We're just going to take this first one right off the bat, the Federal Student Loan Refinancing Act. Okay. It's got 22 co-sponsors, so lots of people already pretty much support it. Okay. You click on it and it'll come up with a summary, which is like breaking it down into layman's terms. It'll have the actual text of the document, and this one's actually pretty short, which is unusual. And then it'll have all the actions that have happened with it. And this tracker is really, really nice because it will tell you if it's already passed the House or the Senate. If it's passed one or the other, then you cannot write to the people who are in that chamber. Okay, if it's already passed the House, you can't write to Steve King about it. He can't do anything about it anymore. If it's already passed the Senate, then you can't write to Joni or Chuck about it. Okay, so try to find a bill that is not already to the president. Okay, because then you have to write to Mr. Trump. Not that that's the end of the world, but I really want you to kind of keep track of the bill more carefully. So, if it is kind of just blank like this, it's been introduced, but it hasn't passed either house, you can write to any of the three. It does not have to be just to Steve because it started in the House or Joni because it started in the Senate. Basically what you need to do, if we're taking this one for example, if you want to write to Joni Ernst about it, okay, be like, Representative Scott Peters started this bill. If it passes the House, I would really appreciate you voting for it, voting against it when it reaches the Senate because da 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 da. Okay, and give you reasons for that. It can be very, very simple like that. Okay, now we're going to take this one. We're going to look at it over on GovTrack because GovTrack is really unique in that it showcases some different things. I don't think I wrote that right. Nope. 2718. There's my dyslexia working there. All right. So to allow certain student loan borrowers to refinance federal student loans. Okay. Overview is very, very short. The summary goes more into detail and it's probably going to be roughly the same as the one right here. Okay. It does have details to it. It has, it shows the co-sponsors, so it'll show if, you know, your person has already co-sponsored it, then that's great. Just be like, yay, go you, I support this or I don't support it, whatever. The text again, and with the overview, it's really nice because it'll show the status and then it'll show this thing called the prognosis, which I think is really interesting. Scopus Labs is this nonpartisan research base that takes all the information about the bills, the co-sponsors, all that kind of stuff, and gives it a prognosis. Now, this one actually has a really, really bad prognosis. Usually they're at least 3%. So I'm not exactly sure why it's at 1%, but if you want to make sure that your time is valuable and is being used effectively, then maybe not do ones with very low prognoses. Just because, like, if it hasn't gotten off the ground yet and it got introduced last May, then it probably won't pass, unfortunately. So you might need to come up with a different student loan bill instead. All right, now let's take a look at the state of Iowa for a bill to talk to the governor about. So for these, you need to make sure that you are searching by keyword over here. And let's just go speed limit. Okay, this will show you all the different bills that are have been introduced or whatever in the General Assembly down in Des Moines right now. Okay, now amendments, don't do anything about those because they don't really have the force of law. Amendments are things that are tacked on, but until they actually, like, they and the bill go to the governor, it doesn't really matter. And it's a little tiny, tiny piece of the law. It's not the law itself. So it needs to say SF or HF to be a bill that you can write to the governor about. Okay, so exceeding a speed limit established or posted pursuant to blah, 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 by 25 miles per hour or more if the death of another person directly or indirectly results from this violation. So basically this is about like speeding and then accidentally killing somebody, what it would be considered as. Okay, if you wanted to write to Governor Reynolds about this, you kind of just sum it up. I support this or I don't support this because da 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 da, and you are done. Okay, with this, okay, you look at those. Your general formatting is that you need an introduction, you need to introduce yourself and why you're writing to them. Please do not put, this is for a government assignment and Mrs. Schur is making us write these. Don't do that, okay? That automatically discredits your opinions because it's like you're being forced to make an opinion, okay? If it's something that you actually care about, if it's an issue that's important to you, it needs to come from you, okay? Make something up. Body paragraphs, delve into the bill and why you support or oppose it. What do you think the congressperson or governor should do with it and why? And then conclusion, thank them for their time and for reading through your ideas. And if you encourage follow-up, you'll probably get it, okay? I look forward to hearing from you. Sincerely, Johnny Be Good, okay? Whatever the case may be. So you need to save it to your Google Docs so the title you won't forget, and then upload it onto Classroom under the instructions for block day assignment, and then you are done for the day, okay? If you have any questions, okay, go back through this video. That's completely fine. Read through these instructions for block day as well as the congressional letter instructions. As far as proper formatting goes, go to Google. Go business letter format. And the beautiful thing about Google is, well, if it works, it'll come up with templates and then you can just, fill in whatever you need. The congressional addresses for national bills, Senator Ernst, Senator Grassley, Representative King, Representative Lobasek, and then Governor Reynolds. They're all on the document right here at the bottom under the congressional letter instructions. So you have that. For your address, either put your home or you can put the school's address, which is on our school website. That's about all I have for today. Work hard. I want to hear a good report from the sub, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.